Chapter 22. Tom joined the new order of cadets of temperance, being attracted by the showy character of their regalia. He promised to abstain from smoking, chewing, and profanity as long as he remained a member. Now he found out a new thing, namely, that to promise not to do a thing is the surest way in the world to make a body want to go and do that very thing. Tom soon found himself tormented with a desire to drink and swear. The desire went to be so intense that nothing but the hope of a chance to display himself in his red sash kept him from withdrawing from the order. 4th of July was coming, but the sun got it up before he had gone his checklist over 48 hours, and befitted his hopes upon all Judge Fraser, Justice of the Peace, who was apparently on his deathbed and would have a big public funeral, since he was so high an official. During their days, Tom was deeply concerned about the judge's conditions and angry for news of it. Sometimes his hopes ran high, so high that he would venture to get out his regalia and practice before the looking glass. But the judge had a most discouraging way of fluctuating. At last he was pronounced upon the mend, and then convalescent. Tom was disgusted and felt a sense of injury, though he handed in his resignation at once, and that night the judge suffered a late and death. Tom resolved that he would never trust a man like that again. The funeral was a fine thing. The cadets paraded in a style calculated to kill the last member with envy. Tom was a free boy again. However, there was something in that. He could drink and swear now, but found to his surprise that he did not want to. The simple fact that he could took the desire away, and the charm of it. Tom presently wondered to find that his COVID vacation was beginning to hang a little heavily on his hands. He attempted a diary, but nothing happened during 3 days, and so he abandoned it. The first of the Negro minstrel sounds came to Tom, and made a sensation. Tune Joy Harper got up a band of performers and were happy for 2 days. Even the glorious fall was in some sense a failure, for it rained hard. There was no procession in consequence and the weirdest man in the world. Has soon supposed Mr. Benton, an actual United States Senator, proved an overwhelming disappointment, for he was not 25 feet high, nor even anywhere in the neighborhood of it. A circus came. The boys played circus for 3 days, afterward in tents made of rag carpeting, admissions 3 pence for boys, 2 for girls, and then circusing was abandoned. A Pentologist and a mesmerizer came, and went again and left the village duller and drearier than ever. 3 were some boys and girls parties, but there were so few and so delightful that they only made the ancient void between each the harder. Betty Thatcher was gone to her Constantinople home to stay with her parents during vacation, so there was no bright side to life anywhere. The dreadful secret of the murder was a chronic misery. It was a very cancer for permanency and pain. Then came the merciless. During 2 long weeks, to lay a prisoner, dead to the world and its happenings. He was very ill, he was interested in nothing. When he got upon his feet at last and moved verbally downtown, a melancholy change had come over everything and every creature. There had been a revival, and everybody had good religion, not only the adults, but even the boys and girls. Tom went about hoping against hope for the sight of one blessed sinful face. But disappointment crossed him everywhere. He found Harper studying a testament, and turned sadly away from the depressing spectacle. He saw Ben Rogers and found him visiting the poor with a basket or tracts. He hunched up his hollies, who called his attention to the precious blessing of his late mislead as a warning. Everybody he encountered added another tone to his depression, and when, in desperation, he fled for refuge at last to the bosom of Hood Levelly Finn and was received with a stuttered quotation. His heart broke and he tried home and to be realizing that he alone of all the town was lost forever and forever.
On that night there came on a terrific storm, with driving rain, awful claps of thunder, and many shades of lightning. He covered his head with the bedclothes and waited in the horror of suspense for his doom. He had the nameless shadow of a doubt that Al-Hapab was about him. He believed he had taxed the furnace it might have seemed to him a waste of pump and ammunition to kill a bug with a battery of artillery. But there seemed nothing incongruous about the getting up such expensive thunderstorm as is to knock the door from under and inside like himself. By and by the dentist spent himself and died without accomplishing it's obvious. The boy's first impulse was to be grateful and reform. His second was to wait, for there might not be any more storms. The next day the doctors were back. Tom had relapsed. The 3 weeks he spent off his back, this time seemed an entire age. When he got a roll, at last he was very grateful, and he been spared, remembering how lonely was his stay. How companionless and forlorn he was. He drifted listlessly down the street and found him Hollis acting as judge in the juvenile court that was trying a cat for murder. In the presence of his victim, a bird, he found Joe Harper and Huck Finn and Ollie eating the stolen melon. Poor lads, they like Tom, had suffered a relapse. At last the sleeping monster was stirred, and brilliantly. The murder trial came on in the court. It became the absorbing topic of village talk immediately. Tom could not get away from it. Every reference to the murder sent a shudder to his heart, for his troubled conscience and first almost persuaded him that these remarks were put forth in his hearing as fillers. He did not see how he could be suspected of knowing anything about the murder, but still he could not be comfortable in the midst of the gossip. It kept him in a cold shiver all the time. He took her to a lonely place to have a talk with him. It would be some relief to unshell his tongue for a little while, to divide his burden of distress with the knowledge of him. Moreover, he wanted to assure himself that Huck had remained indiscreet. Huck, have you ever told anybody about that? About what? You know what? Of course I haven't. Never a word, never a solitary word, so help me. What makes you ask? That I'm a flirt. I was a flirt. Why Tom Sawyer we would be alive today if that got found? You know that. Tom and Markov the affair about. Could they couldn't anybody get you to tell, could they? Get me to tell? Why, if I wanted that half-breed devil to drown me, they could get to me to tell. Then I know a different way. Well, that's all right. Then I reckon we're safe as long as we get none. But that swear again anyway is my turn. I'm agreeing. So they swore again with strange solemnities. What is the towel around Hook? I've heard a power of it. Towel, well, it move polar all the time. It keeps me in the suit, constant, so I want to hide some nerves. That's just the same way they go on around me. I reckon he's a gunner. Don't you feel sorry for him sometimes? Most always. He ain't no account, but he ain't ever done anything to hurt anybody. Just fishes a little to get money to get drunk on and
Love avowed considerably, but Lord, we all do that leastways, most of us. Pressured and such like, but he is kind of good. He had me half a fish once when there were not enough for two, and lot of time he's kind of stood by me when I was out of luck. When he's mended kites for me, hung and snided hooks onto my line. I wish we could get him out of there. My we could not get him out, Tom. And besides, it won't do any good. They'd catch him again. Yes, so they will, but I hate to hear him. abuse him so like the Dickens when he never done that. I do to Tom Lord. I hear him say he is the bloodiest looking being in this country. And they wonder he wanted ever hung before. Yes, they talk like that all the time. I heard say that if he was to get free, they'd lynch him and they'd do it too. The boy had a long tail, but it brought them little comfort. As the twilight dreamed on, they found themselves hanging about the neighborhood of the little isolated jail, perhaps with an undefined hope that something would happen that might clean away their difficulties. But nothing happened. There seemed to be no angels or fire interested in this luckless captive. The boys did as they had often done before, went to the cell grating and grabbed Potter some tobacco and matches. He was on the ground floor and there were no guard. His gratitude for their gifts had always smote their considerance before. It cut deeper than ever this time. They felt cowardly and treacherous to the last degree when Potter said, "You've been my God to me, boys. Better than anybody else in this town. And I don't forget it." I don't. Often I say to myself, say I I used to mean all the boys, kids and things, and show where the good fishy place was, and befriend um, what I call, and now they forgot all move when he is in trouble, but Tom don't and who don't, they don't forget him. Sigh I, and I don't forget them. Well, boys, I don't an awful thing, drunk and crazy at the time. That's the only way I account for it. I know I got to squeeze for it, and it's right, right, and best too. I reckon. Hope so. Anyway, well, we won't talk about that. I don't want to make you feel bad. You you befriended me, but what I want to say is, don't you ever get drunk, then you won't ever get here. Stand a little further west. So that's it. It's a prime conform to see face that's friendly when a boy is in such a mood for trouble. There don't none come here but your good friendly face. Good friendly face. Hide up on one another's backs and let me touch and that's it. Shake hands. You are control the bar, put minds to be little hands and wet, but they helped move Potter a power. and they help him more if they could. Tom went home miserably, and his dreams that night were full of horrors. The next day and the day after, he who about the courtroom, drawn by an almost irresistible impulse to go in, but forcing himself to stay out, who was having the same experience. They studiously avoided each other, each wandered away from time to time, but the same dismal fascination always brought them back. Present. Don't keep his heart open when it learned sauntered out of the courtroom, but invariably heard this tracing news. The toil were closing more and more violently upon poor Potter. At the end of the second day, the village talk was to the effect that injured Joyce's evidence stood firm and unshaken, and that there was not the slightest question as to what the injuries verily would be. Tom was out late that night and came to bed through the window. He was in a tremendous state of excitement. It was all before he got to sleep. Al the village flowed to the court home the next morning, for this was to be the great day. But sex were about equally represented in the packet audience. After a long wait, the jury filed in and took their place. Shortly afterward, Potter, pale and haggard, timid and hopeless, was brought in with chains upon him and seated where all the curious eyes could stare at him, no less conspicuous was injust joy, stolid as ever. There was another page, and then the judge arrived, and the sheriff proclaimed the opening on the court. The usual whispering among the lawyers and gathering and together of papers followed. These details and accompanying the lace worked up an atmosphere of preparation that was as impressive as it was fascinating. Now a witness was called who testified that he saw found moved up there washing in the book at an early hour of the morning that the murder was discovered, and that he immediately sneaked away. After some further questioning, counsel for the prosecution said, "Take the witness." The prisoner raised his eyes for a moment, but dropped them again when his own counsel said, "I have no questions to ask him." The next witness proved the finding to the night near the court. Counsel for the prosecution said, "Take the witness. I have no questions to ask him." Potter's lawyer replied, and third witness more he had often seen the snake in Potter's possession. Take the witness. Counsel for Potter declined to question him. The face of the audience began to betray annoyance. Did this attorney mean to throw away his client's life without an effort?
Several witnesses deposed concerning Potter's guilty behavior we brought to the scene of the murder. They were allowed to leave the stand without being cross-questioned. Every detail of the damaging circumstance that occurred in the graveyard upon that morning, which all present remembered so well, was brought out by credible witnesses, but none of them were cross-examined by Potter's lawyer. The perplexity and dissatisfaction of the house expressed itself in murmurs and provoked a reproof from the bench. Counsel for the prosecution now said, by the oaths of citizens whose simple words above suspicion, we have fastened this awful crime beyond all possibilities of question upon the unhappy prisoner at the board. We rest our case here. A groan escaped from poor Potter, and he put his face in his hands and rocked his body softly to and fro, while a painful silence reigned in the courtroom. Many men were moved, and many women's compassion testified itself in tears. Counsel for the defense rose and said, Your Honor, in our remarks at the opening of this trial, we foreshadowed our purpose to prove that our client did this fearful deed while under the influence of a blind and irresponsible delirium produced by drink. We have changed our minds. We shall now offer that plea. Tend to the clerk, called Thomas Sawyer. A puzzled amazement awoke in every face in the house, not even excepting Potter. Every eye fastened itself with wondering interest upon Tom as he rose and took his place upon the stand. The boy looked well now, for he was badly scarred. The oath was administered. Tom Sawyer, where were you on the 17th of June? About the hour of midnight. Tom glanced at Injus Joe's iron face, and his tone failed him. The audience listened breathless, but the word refused to come. After a few moments, however, the boy got a little of his strange back and management to put enough of it into his voice to make part of the house heard. In the graveyard, a little bit louder, please don't be afraid, you word. In the graveyard, a contemptuous smile filed across Injus Joe's face. Were you anywhere near House Williams' grave? Yes, sir. Speak up, just a trifle louder. How near were you? Near as I am to you. Were you hiding or not? I was hid where? Behind the elm stands on the edge of the grave. Joe gave a barely perceptible start. Anyone with you? Yes, sir, I went there with. Wait a moment. Never mind mentioning your companion's name. We will produce him at the proper time. Did you carry anything there with you? Tom hesitated and looked confused. Speak out, my boy. Don't be diffident. The truth is always respectable. What did you take there? Only a dead cat. There was a ripple of mirth which the court checked.